Fox News goes to war with White House over cheap fake videos. The network's hosts warned rival news networks that they would be in litigious territory if they continued to criticize Fox's coverage. Well, you know, the Daily Beast is basically CIA Beast, so I'll correct that for you. The network is warning that if you accuse them of producing false information intentionally, they will sue you. And they should. Fox News fired back Tuesday after the White House accused the conservative cable giant and Trump world of peddling deceptively cut cheap fake videos to make President Joe Biden look decrepit and feeble. I really like that, cheap fake. You got Brian Stelter appearing on cable and he's like, well, a cheap fake is when it's a real video, but they edit in a way so that you can mislead people. And it's like, like the Very Fine People hoax.
Do you think Corinne Jean-Pierre is going to start selling cheap fake merch?
No, I think we are going to appropriate the word cheap fake to accuse the corporate press of every hoax they've ever done being a cheap fake.
Oh.
I like that term. It's really great. There's fake news, and that's with reference to a lot of the work they do. But then you can take a look at all of the hoaxes we've had. Russiagate, Hunter Biden's laptop. You can take a look at Very Fine People hoax, the injecting bleach hoax. All the cheap fakes being pumped out by the corporate press. We ain't got nothing on them. Man, so my bigger concern with cheap fakes is how the corporate press pumps them out day after day. In fact, there's a cheap fake video going around right now from MSNBC. Or is it MSNBC? Nicole Wallace, where is she? Is she CNBC? She's claiming what they did was so the corporate press is running this cheap fake video where it shows Biden waving to the crowd and then cuts away to this ultra wide shot so you can't really see Biden or Obama anymore. Then it cuts back as they're walking away. When in the real video that stays the same focal point the entire time, you can see Biden freeze up for about 7 seconds before Obama pulls him away. So they've been running this cheap fake, trying to convince people that Biden is totally fine. But we've got all the videos of it. This is what they do. They have this other form of cheap fake where they translate for Joe Biden, and ChatGPT does this too. It's amazing. I asked ChatGPT what true international pressure was, and it said Joe Biden was trying to say true international pressure. How do you know that? Nobody knows what he was trying to say. I said, what about Batacaf care? And it sounded like he was trying to say better health care plans. And I was like, why are you giving me speculative opinion? You have no idea what the gibberish meant. That's a cheap fake. These media outlets, when Joe Biden garbles, so Joe Biden comes out and says, we're going to lower taxes on the lower working class. They will write, quote, Joe Biden says, they'll write the exact quote. But when he goes, I got to tell Kim Jong, we got North Korea, the thing. They'll write, Joe Biden gave stern words to Kim Jong-un. They won't quote him if he speaks gibberish. That's cheap fake. That's what they're doing. But I will add as an aside, the bigger story here we're talking about is the rebut over Fox News opining on publicly available video is that the White House and corporate press outlets have accused Fox News of intentionally and deceptively editing videos and publishing them to lie to people and make them think Joe Biden is mentally unfit. You're not going to convince people of this. But they're also going to be entering legal territory because they can get sued over this. So I love this, though. Let me read this. They say, over the past 2 weeks, the Republican National Committee and major conservative media outlets have amplified several short video clips supposedly showing the 81-year-old president freezing on stage, wandering off, or even pooping his pants. Wow. Really? They showed that. Thank you, Daily Beast, for letting us know those things happened.
It is wild that this was something that all kinds of mainstream outlets were showing, but they're like, it's all fake. And now everyone on the mainstream media has to fall in line and be like, yes, this never happened. I mean, again, with Obama like tugging Joe and then escorting him out, that I was listening to MSNBC talk about that and showing a clip of it. Like, this is a strange stance that the White House has put their allies in the corporate press into. I think it's kind of funny. I would love to see Fox News fire back, but I feel as though it might just be yet another angry letter, maybe a stern finger shaking. I do love this word Trump world. I just think that would be the most amazing amusement park of all time, right up there with Dollywood probably. But it's undeniable that something is going on with Biden. And I think the more they try to say, oh, they're making it up, it's almost like it's incentivizing young voters to Google it themselves and find these video clips, which will live on in infamy thanks to the internet forever.
I think there's something to building this term, cheap fake. They're trying to create and control narrative, which is obsessively what power-hungry regimes try and do, is control your narrative and your thoughts. Like, deceptively editing video is what that is. You now to create a new term and try and control people's perception of what they're doing. It's a very natural thing to edit a video the way you would like people to perceive the video. And just because there's shadow from one angle didn't mean it wasn't sunny. I hope that those words came out right. So I don't like that. I don't like it. Well, the word cheap, I think, is one of the funniest words on earth.
Like it.
I love it.
I love it. When the corporate press made up fake news and then
Deep
Trump
fake.
took it.
It sounds like deep fake.
It's supposed to.
Deep fake.
It's supposed to.
Yeah, but like, at what point does editing a video become a cheap fake?
Anything they do is a cheap fake. That's from now on.
Well, that's how I felt when Biden put up that video. He was when he was like, "I'm challenging Trump to a debate" or whatever. This a couple weeks ago, and I heard it first when I was driving, so it was over NPR, and it does sound kind of like Biden's being stern. He's almost speaking at a regular human pace. But actually, when you watch it, it's got all the jump cuts in it.
Yeah, cheap fake.
And that's the intentional version, right? So they're saying, "Well, we never do this, and only bad conservative media."
Actually, they do it. So this is the funny thing. They came out and they started trying to use the term fake news, and Trump and the right appropriated to accuse them of being the fake news. They lost their minds over it. Is it a cheap? So what is a deep fake? A deep fake is when you ask a computer to AI render a fake video or image so you can lie to people. What is a cheap fake? When you edit a video that is real to trick and manipulate people. Okay, well, the video of Joe Biden freezing on stage, not edited. It's literally just the video of him on stage. We all saw that and said, oh man, he kind of just locked up for about 10 seconds or so. It's at seven or 8 seconds is it when I counted it out. And what does it mean? Well, I don't know, but he kind of freezes up and then Obama grabs him. They said that never happened. You lied. That's a cheap fake. No, the cheap fake was when you did the up close shot. The Krasensteins posted this. And then when the camera, right before Biden freezes, the camera switches to this really far away view you can't see. That was deceptively editing. So you could not tell he froze up. Camera change right when he freezes. What's a cheap fake? As you mentioned, when Biden called out Trump for a debate and there were 5 jump cuts in 14 seconds. That's a cheap fake. They make, so let's break this down. Joe Biden needed 5 jump cuts to challenge Trump to a debate. Meaning, if you actually had a raw, unedited video of him talking, you would not get a coherent idea. So they make a fake video by splicing these clips together to make it seem like he said a sentence, when in fact, it took him probably a very long time to get those words out. That's a cheap fake. It's a real video, but edited to create the perception that Joe Biden is speaking properly. They make cheap fakes. That's what they do.
And a lot of us too, like Americans are watching a lot of these videos live. I know I certainly am. We're seeing what's happening and we're being told by the regime, don't believe your lying eyes. Every voter knows that Biden does, his best Roomba impression is what people have started calling it. When he wanders around stage, looks like he's totally lost. No one's home. And they see that. And a lot of, I think, Americans too have experienced that with their family members, right? A lot of people have elderly relatives, perhaps people who do have dementia, and they know what it looks like. And it looks like President Joe Biden right now. So that's something that the left, no matter how much spin they try and throw at this, they're not going to be able to change that perception because Americans, thanks to the internet, are seeing it in real time and they're seeing it unedited.
Right. And it's not like it just started happening. I mean, I feel like we've had a bunch of gaffes and sort of lost moments on stage in the past 3 weeks, but this has been true his entire presidency. We could all rattle off our favorite hits of this, right? Like I remember one where he was, I believe at the White House, there was a long red carpet and he was obviously supposed to turn at one point, and instead he just kept walking onto the grass, like got completely lost. And a Secret Service member had to sort of like sheepdog guide him back on course. It was crazy. There is a part where you don't want to be dramatic. You want to assume like, oh, maybe there is an easy explanation. But when it's happening this consistently, in addition to, the stiff gait, in addition to sort of this change in his voice, in addition to the slurred speech, like at a certain point, it's too much evidence to ignore. And I think that's also true for independent voters. I think they are the ones who are the most affected by the idea that we are in turbulent times, both economically and geopolitically, and at the helm is a guy who needs to be let off stage. Not a good look.
Also now they're saying, it's these cheap fakes. In 2020, they were saying, oh, President Biden just has a stutter and you shouldn't make fun of people who have stutters. That's really rude to do. But if you look at old videos of Biden, that stutter wasn't there. This type of wandering around, this type of freezing up wasn't there. He was very cognitively with it, and now he's not. The American people can see that as well, especially independent voters. They can search, videos of Biden when he was in Congress, even when he was vice president, and it is night and day.
Yeah, it's very
We
different.
need Kamala Harris. We need her in. Put me in, coach. I'm ready.
Yes, I would not like a Kamala Harris presidency.
It's not even like I want. It's like these are the rules. When the president's mind is gone, you initiate, put the next commander in because the military needs a commander. This guy's
Commander's still there. Obama's perfectly healthy.
I hope he's in command. I don't know what kind of legal authority he has to negotiate on behalf of
Dude,
the president.
Kamala's like the Joker. Have you ever watched her give a speech? She's sitting there and she's like, well, how's it going, everybody? We've got a big project working on helping these starving children. It's like, why are you laughing, lady? Like, I'm not kidding. Someone will be like, there were 17 children that were killed in this horrible accident. And she'll go, well, we're going to do what we have to do to try and get supplies in, but sometimes it's hard. It's like, she just laughs. Like her and Hillary Clinton were cackling fiends. That's how cackling.
It's like their teleprompter is like, laugh here. And so they do it, but it feels very unnatural. And then it's like, get stern. And they have the similar hand gesture the whole time. It's very weird. And also, she's deeply unpopular, right? Like, in terms of inspiring another generation of voters, I don't think she's it. I don't think that young Democrats look to her and say, this is our gal, even though she is, a woman of color, which they thought was the key to win everything.
I'd take the unpopular, deeply unpopular cackling fiend to this creature of the Biden White House. I can't. It's too dangerous to have that thing. I'm sorry, Joe. Have you in control of the military now is insane. You already messed it up with Afghanistan. I cannot imagine you having some sort of debate with Vladimir Putin right now would be sad.
We're like less than a week away.
Please resign.
Or we're almost a week away from the Trump-Biden debate. I think that would be very telling to the voters.
If they let that go normal, Trump's going to humiliate him. It's going to be devastating to Biden's legacy. And he's got to resign after that.
We had someone on the show a couple weeks ago say basically that Biden can focus his energy for small bursts of time. And he was saying maybe he can handle, an hour or two on the debate stage and it'll be okay. And I have a really hard time believing that because it seems like in the last couple of weeks, especially with the amount of travel he's been doing, he's got these fundraisers, he's going everywhere, that basically he has enough time to get to that point. It really seems like his energy levels and his focus are not great right now. On the other hand, if he is somewhat focused and is able to get under Trump's skin, I think the debate could backfire on Trump. I think Trump has to really push Biden on his record as president, as opposed to answer any questions about his convictions or anything else. Just it has to be about Biden answering for the consequences of his actions. And I hope it goes that way. But it's hard to say. Both personalities one personality is very fiery and one personality, I guess, depends on if the sun is up.
Joe Biden is a lich. Kamala Harris is a cackling fiend. I just view them as weird demon monsters.
Yeah.
Trump is a jester for sure. But jesters were actually widely respected advisors to the kings that would say things that were shocking and offensive to try and keep the perspective in alignment, think outside the box.
Well, and like Shakespearean plays, the Falstaff character, which is typically like the clown or jester, some people will stage it as like a goofy, like very physical comedy, whatever. And other interpretations, it's sort of a calculated role. They are able to trick and reveal things in a way that other characters aren't because of their position in the social structure. Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.